views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
This show's audio was via a Skype call.
Power comes from an inner knowing, inner joy, inner awareness, inner freedom, and a higher power. The Art of Powerful Living Radio with Robert Schoenfeld is here to inspire every human to live lives that are rich, fulfilling, on purpose, and fun. Get ready to take this journey and discover the power of joy in all aspects of life. This show is life transforming. You will hear Dr. Pat and Robert discuss topics on joy, love, art, and expanding our minds to what's possible. Join Dr. Pat Basile and Robert Schoenfeld in the Art of Powerful Living Radio, starting right now.
Wow. Hey, everybody. It's really cool to be connecting with all of you for a lot of reasons, but mostly because I get to hang out with my friend and colleague, Robert Schoenfeld. Now, today's show is especially important for a lot of reasons. One is you're going to get to hear from Robert about what the energy is, what this time of year really means, and how can we craft an intention, how can we set ourselves up for unwavering success. The other part of this is many of you are seeing messages from us on two things. One is our theme for next year is unlimited possibilities now. And Robert's going to take us on a journey about the unfolding of the many, many faces of the art of powerful living. But what is the intention that is so important to set? He's going to talk about that. And beyond all that, he is an author. We're going to give a copy of his book away. Incredible book. He is an artist. You're going to see, if you're watching on Facebook right now, you're going to see his art. And what I love about this today, you're going to hear from somebody that looked at his talents, his gifts in the world, and created a place for all of them to reside in his heart and in the art of powerful living. Robert, it's great to have you. I'm excited about today's show.
Wonderful, Pat, and Dr. Pat. And it's a wonderful time to be here. Like you say, everything's happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think, can't you even feel inside yourself this momentum building right now?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
It is amazing. And let me ask you this question, because, people watch you and I and they think, what's the matter with those two? Aren't they following the news and the headlines? Of course we are, but we can choose how to show up in the world, right? Isn't that what you're looking at for setting this intention for 2018? Exactly.
We are a miracle, Dr. Pat. Every second of life is a miracle, and we can take charge of that miracle and have miracles into our life. There's a whole new opening that's happening right now on all levels. So, like you say, you can be watching the news and get involved in that and let that be your essence of who you are and how you go through life. Or you can look at life a different way, that you are the master here and you can take charge of this. And coming into this new year and this new time, let's do it. I mean, if you have a choice to be happy or not be happy, what would you do?
Well, and part of what you've created is you've created a way to help people, mentor people, coach people, show people through, your art, also through, the tools, the many tools in the book. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the question really is, what is it for you that you want to have people really bring into their hearts about the many, many aspects of the art of powerful living? What are some of the components of it?
Beautiful. And we can do that in kind of an intention right now, Dr. Pat.
Sweet.
So that everybody on this program and everybody that's going to listen and replay, and really everybody in the world, let's set an intention for this year, and we'll bring in the power of artful living. So as I say these words, bring these into your heart and breathe these into your essence. We all want to live a life that's more powerful, joyful, and adventurous. And what it takes is courage, desire, reflection, focus, vision, wisdom, enthusiasm. That's one of my favorite, enthusiasm. Also, integrity. Integrity is vital here for the next year coming through. It also takes teamwork. It takes an enlightened plan, and then, of course, the dynamic implementation of that plan. If we can put all the, I know that's a big thing, but if we can bring that into who we are and how we go through this next year, we will be very successful, much more happy, and just enjoying life more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad that you've included integrity in there. For me, I got the opportunity to study integrity in school, and people say, why would you study integrity? Well, because it's one of the most used words we have in our culture here, right, Robert?
Yeah.
And it's the least understood. But joy is something that when you say the words joy, people don't, what do you mean? They don't say, like, Robert, what do you mean by joy? And when you have a book called For the Love of Joy, they're like, wow, what is that about? I want that. And isn't that part of our conversation today?
It is very, very much, because, Dr. Pat, the foundation of a good life is a joyful life, whether it's a joyful family, living in a community, a country, a world. It's interesting because the UN puts out every year its joy index. What countries are the most joyful? And the top one is Denmark,
yep.
followed by Singapore. And they looked at what is it that really makes these people happy. And part of it is, of course, they have a sense of community, their economics are strong, but it's really that they have a self vision of who they are and where they're going in life. And without that, you can't be happy. So that's what I would love for everybody. And like you mentioned in my book, I go through step-by-step plan of how to really bring that joy into your life by bringing a mission into your life, being successful, and really having a purpose, a long-term goal, a short-term goal, and joyfully moving through it with integrity.
When you look at, let's talk about the energy of your art. If people are watching on Facebook now, and if you're not, you can go to Transformation Talk Radio, Facebook Transformation Talk Radio, and they'd be seeing an image right directly behind you. I want to take a moment to talk about that image for two reasons. One, it is your joy to create beauty, and it has a special meaning in the conversation today.
Very much so. Creativity is a very, very important part to the aspect of joy. I am very blessed, as we all are, but I'm very blessed to be able to every day go down in my studio and create something that has color, dynamics, drama, and that visually can uplift a person. The colors I choose are colors that have a vitality to it, a love to it, a joy to it, and bringing this all together in kind of a blend so that as you're looking at this painting, it actually uplifts you. Science has evaluated color, just like sound has vibration, and different sounds can elevate a person, can enlighten a person, can relax a person. Science has found that every color now has a vibration also. And the colors I use are blending almost like a symphony to create that feeling of upliftment, joy, and beauty. And I think you can see that in the painting behind me, that it just has that vibrance to it.
Yeah. I mean, let's take a look now at what this means. I mean, I was talking about the new moon in Sagittarius. Of course, now I'm also talking about, since we're in, this month, also talking about Saturn and the need to create infrastructure. Really, the time is coming now. It's to say, look, here I am. I'm Robert Schoenfeld, and I've created the art of powerful living. And now what this means as we move into next year is what it means is that people that are out there that want to work with you, that want you to speak at their, events to talk about how to expand joy, how to create a global moment of joy, and this is for you from now to the first. How do we set ourselves on that course, right?
Perfect.
How do we make a correction to get there?
Excellent, excellent. And what's even more powerful is we have the solstice coming up. The days are getting shorter, and in a couple of days they'll start getting longer again. So what we've got here is a really great opportunity, Dr. Pat. If we, for the next 10, 15 days between now and the first of the year, could spend some time quietly, just really in silence, where we can reflect on who we are, where we've been, and really where we want to go in life, that would be fantastic. If you could spend time with a mentor, a loved one, take nice walks in the woods, on the beach, whatever it takes for you to get silent and get inward, because that's where the message is, Dr. Pat. That's where the strength is. So this is a very valuable time right now for the next 10, 15 days to really go inward, enjoy that quietness, get some messages, write it down, and then set a course. Because as you know, action is everything. Come the 1st of January, and this is not a New Year's resolution. This is an actual essence of who you are as a human being and what your life mission is, to find it and go out and do it starting January 1st.
Yeah, I love that you said it's not a New Year's resolution, because I think we should spend a moment and talk about that. We're talking about creating an energy. Someone said to me the other day, "What's your theme, Pat, for next year?" And I happen to be at the same time doing some paperwork for the bank for my company here. And my company's name is Unlimited Possibilities Now. And I thought, I've never used it as a theme. And it came right out of my mouth. But the emphasis, Robert, is on now. And I would love for you to talk about that, because sometimes we think we've got to wait for our joy to show up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And that's it, Dr. Pat. We can be in joy right now. And there's many steps we can do. The easiest one is to be in gratitude. Anytime you are feeling a little bit down or whatever, just be in gratitude for what you have, for the breath you have, for the heartbeat that you have, for the friends that you have, for the house that you have that has heat in it. Whatever you can do to bring gratitude into your life brings you right into the moment and brings you into a state of joy. And, it's nice to be in the moment, but it's also wonderful to have goals. And it's wonderful to have a long-term goal too, because that also brings great joy. And to actually work for that goal. To have a plan, a step-by-step plan for a long-term goal, and then to watch yourself, evaluate yourself as you go through. And that's another way to bring more happiness into your life right away.
Yeah, I love this. We're going to take a short break because we'd like to get all of you involved as well. How can you be a light to the world? How can you create something extraordinary? When we come back, we're going to talk about what you represent in the world of the divine, what that looks like, how you can change that. And Robert's going to take us on a journey, especially as he looked at For the Love of Joy, that fabulous book that I was telling you about. And we're going to talk about that. In the end, we're part of something if we want to be part of it. Let's take a short break. When we come back, do you want to be part of joy? We'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back. I am so thrilled today to really share an amazing message, the message of possibilities. And what I love about working with Robert, and I've gotten to have the honor and the experience of working with him now, helping create the art of powerful living, and also be inspired by his absolute boundaryless approach to creating a joyful life. Whether it's, watching the art that he's created change, develop, and grow, or speaking with him about how to bring a powerful message of joy in the world, or even how to create the spiritual essence to guide people along the way. You might be thinking, I'm not done with my shopping. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You know what? All of the above can be done with joy. As Robert says, be a light to the world. Exactly. Robert, let's talk about what that means to you and why this is such a personally important message for you.
Beautiful, Dr. Pat. We all have a mission here in life. And what our whole goal basically is to develop that mission, find out what it is, and then go and shine it to the world. And it's much more fun to shine that through joy I was listening to Dr. Michael Bedquist last night, and that one of the great parts of joy also is to learn new things, to listen to great speakers, to read a great book, to grow and to learn. That's one of the great joys in life. But his message was so profound and so timely for this time of the year. He says to ask the great questions. What are the questions that are empowering to you? And of course, one of the questions are, the universe gave me birth. God gave me birth. And there's a reason why I was born. And the question is, what gifts does God want to express through me? What gifts does the universe want to express through me? What am I here to birth? And so he says, like we were talking about before, to listen to that small voice inside, to get in that silence time, and then really think about and plan about, what must I do to develop that mission, to go ahead and do it? What changes are necessary? The habits that I have, the food I eat, the way I talk with people. What do I need to change so I can manifest that vision? And then the real project goes forward is, how do I become the master to partake in the unfolding of the universe? Because we're all partners in this, and we can create a more joyful world. Like we're talking about the time of year right now. We're still in the holiday of Hanukkah. And Hanukkah is the holiday of lights. And most people know that it's about lighting 8 days. It's a miracle. But really, there's an underlying story here about religious freedom. Really what this was all about, the Greeks had taken over Jerusalem and had destroyed the temple, not destroyed the temple, but made it so that it was unclean. And what this was a revolt against the Greeks so the Jews could return to the religion, to the way that they worship God. And so basically this is a time of bringing more light, more spiritual light, more personal light into this world. And it's a very, very delicate time, but it's also a very, very special time. And if we could listen to the words of Reverend Michael Bedquist, to really go deep, find out what it is that the universe, what it is that God wants to express through us, this is going to be an amazing world. There's about 30,000 people listening to this broadcast right now, many more on
many
the rebroadcast.
More, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If all 30,000 of us did something along this line and spread it out to another 1,000, and then they spread out to another 1,000, that would be over 1 billion people right there. Think of the power of what we have right now, Dr. Pat, and what we can do with that power.
Here's what I love about what you said. Next year, we are launching a campaign that we're calling the Positive Mojo Movement. And what you just described, because you've been a pioneer in this field, you have been the ambassador of joy. You have been the person that says it doesn't matter how you express your joy. Is it art? Is it cooking? Is it being? Is it breathing? What is it? You've been so beautiful in the way that you've removed the shackles of judgment. See? The shackles of judgment about, how do I have to do it, Robert? What do I have to do? Maybe I don't know. Do I have to have my joystick going on? Do I have to listen to Lady Gaga? What do I have to do? All of the above. But here we are today in this energy and power. And I love the way you were talking about the lights. What have you learned in your own life that has helped you move beyond some of the challenges? How did you get to be so joyful?
Dr. Pat, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It really is. It is. And one of my mentors said, listen, if you are a joyful person, I have huge respect for you because I know you have really worked to get there. He also said that being joyful is hard work. And it is. But it's wonderful work. Like anything that we want to accomplish in life, it takes, let me back up a little bit. Dr. Pat, we live in a wonderful world, but we live in a world of pluses and minuses, male, female, black, white. There's pain and there's love in this world, and that's part of the joy. What if we lived in a world that was all just love and happy and roses? We'd be bored within a day. So these challenges, the pains that we go through, they're all here for us so that we can stand up and show our excellence, our magnificence. Everything that life brings to us is an opportunity for us to show who we are and to really go deep into ourselves, to make a choice of we're going to go forward with love, joy, compassion, and trust? Or are we going to go through life with anger, self-pity, and excuses? I think that every time a challenge comes to us, we have that choice. And the more, it's like any muscle, you grow this muscle to go, hey, I'm not making excuses. I made this mistake. I'm going to rear up to it, and I'm going to take steps so it doesn't happen again. And that is the joy of life, is to move forward. Anytime you can look back at your life, that you have come across a challenge, you've met that challenge, and you've come across a stronger person, a more joyful person, a healthier person, a more generous person, that's one of the greatest joys in life.
Yeah, we were talking during the break a little bit, and I was sharing with you, having a birthday this month. I've always been in tune sort of with the planetary alignment things. And I was really focusing on what are people in our spiritual community, our consciousness community, what do they say about this time? And what I love about this, Robert, is it doesn't matter what anybody says about this time or what the planets are. You have been consistent with your message from day one. Joy, more joy. And let me help you, Robert, help you achieve that. What would you say to help people aim straight and get to where they are today and where they want to go? What is it that folks most want to do, but need help with?
That's the question. That's a perfect question. I would say that if you can wake up every morning and basically just spend maybe 5 minutes in bed before you get out, and set the course for your day. First of all, a little prayer of thanks for a restful night, and then to think of 5 things that you want to accomplish today. And, and then, basically just to start your day off with enthusiasm and with a great goal of what you want to accomplish in life. If you like, I have 5 things that we can do or talk about right now.
Yeah, please.
That really are all about saying yes to life and really planning for this next year so that this is a more joyful life. Now, I can back up a little bit because we are in a very interesting time. And like you mentioned, politically, economically, there may be some challenges that come to this next year. And it may be very difficult for a lot of people. But if we can basically work with these 5 things, it'll be easier. And I think we can raise it so that these things are not so, I don't want to use the word dangerous, but not so critical. So
yeah. Well, why don't we do this? Let's take a short break. And when we come back, the entire segment will be to take this journey with you to experience what these 5 things are. And I love what you say. You say, let's keep it simple. Simple doesn't mean that it is any less powerful, right? Simple and powerful are a great combination. Let's take a short break. When we come back, what are the 5 things that Robert's going to share with us so that we can have more joy, get involved with life, and what? Yeah, let's be happy. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. So thrilled all of you are joining me. I'm Dr. Pat, Robert Schoenfeld here. You're listening to one of the fabulous radio series we do with Robert, The Art of Powerful Living. And for more information, you can go to Robert's site, theartofpowerfulliving.com, and you can get a copy of his book, For the Love of Joy. As a matter of fact, Benny, right now, let's go ahead and give a copy of the book away. 1-800-930-2819. First caller, 1-800-930-2819. The other thing is if you got any questions, you want to come on air, or if you simply want to express your joy. If you're following us on Facebook Live, just type it in there. Love it. We'll get your comments up on air as well. Robert, you've really sculpted this into 5 key things that we can do to really unlock the door to joy. And I'm so thrilled that you're going to share those with us today.
Definitely. And like you say, Dr. Pat, it can be very simple. Don't complicate life. Let's keep it simple. So here are the 5 things that if you do this in the next couple of weeks, it'll make your new year be more fun, more successful, and just more dynamic. So number 1, clean up. And this can be the big picture of cleaning up, whether it's just a small thing like cleaning up a closet or cleaning the kitchen, deep cleaning. But what about cleaning up a relationship? What about that cousin that you haven't spoke to for forever, or your spouse that you have an argument with? Clean up so that you go into this year clean and fresh. If you do that, it'll make things so much easier, and you'll have a kind of an inner smile of accomplishment inside you. Number 2, plan an adventure. In fact, let's go bigger. Let's make your whole life an adventure. But if you could just plan a long-term adventure like a trip to Hawaii, and what you might want to do is put down, in an envelope, $10 every week towards that trip, or $100 every week, depending on what level of your abundance is. So that every week you can see that there's something that you're working for that you really, really want to do, so that by this time next year, you went to Hawaii, you had that great adventure. It could be Italy, it could be wherever you want to go, but really plan something that's fun, that's exciting for you. And then get involved in repairing the world. This is huge.
Yeah.
There are a lot of empty spots right now. Homelessness is a huge situation in our country. If you can work in a soup kitchen, maybe work with your city about planning how to help, homeless people. There are teenagers on the street, 14, 15-year-olds. This is not a wonderful way to live. So if we can do something to repair that. Another great program is Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Become a mentor. I did that for a while. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. As somebody that understands and has experienced homelessness firsthand in my teens, I will tell you that, it is important to be able to give back with our time,
Exactly.
Give back with our energy, give back.
Exactly.
But what you're talking about is, of course, the act of service. It's stewardship, isn't it?
It really is. And we all have a responsibility here, and we want to live in a country and a community that is healthy and prosperous, and this is all part of it. Again, there are challenges in life, and that's what they're here for, is for us to use our talents and our skills, and it doesn't have to be anything big. You can give to the food bank. You can volunteer somewhere. It's just something that really speaks to your heart and that does make a difference. That's all that's necessary.
Let's talk about creating things as we move into next year. I know you and I both, we listen to tapes. I listen to meditation, mantra, but there's an real expansive energy that is so important right now. And many folks, have said to me, Pat, I think you're like on another planet. We're not really feeling that. What are you talking about? Are you talking about this? And I'm saying, no, I'm talking about an energy that the world is calling forth. What would you say from your perspective in the art of powerful living? How do you describe that?
I would use one word: playfulness.
Okay.
Dr. Pat, we take ourselves too seriously in life, especially as adults. I heard once that, a person was being interviewed and they asked, well, what do you do for fun? Well, I go to wine tastings. I mean, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Fun. My definition of fun is very easy. It's anything that brings a smile on your face, quickens your heart, and gets your lungs pounding with fresh air. So it can be dancing, it can be, creating something like a painting or writing a book, whatever it is that gets your adrenaline flowing and your enthusiasm going. We need to be playful again. We need to be young. Watch a 5-year-old, or better yet, get out on your knees and play with a 5-year-old. This is where the creative process comes from. It's just letting go. Another friend of mine, I was out with dinner the other night, and she's a wonderful artist, and she's got all the paints and easels and everything else, but she's intimidated. Her father was also a great artist, and so she's now not painting because she doesn't feel that she can get to the level of where her father was. Mm-hmm. So I just told her, go and play and don't show anybody. Just go and have fun with it. Again, Dr. Pat, we take ourselves sometimes way too seriously. We need to get out, smile, get that heart beating, get that enthusiasm going, get the excitement of life back into us, and turn off the TV. And life will unfold in itself.
Yeah, it's interesting about, new moons, but there are different new moons. This is really this marks many endings, right? There's an energy of marking many endings, but many endings means new beginnings, right?
Very much so.
Right? It's hard to end something without something. I mean, it's impossible actually to end something without something new, by the very nature of it. It calls for this time a moment of reflection, like you said earlier when we started the show, reflection and recalibration. And I love that part of this because we've come a long way and we're starting to see recalibration all over the world. We're starting to see it in our country right here. People are reflecting and they're recalibrating. And based on that recalibration, they're doing positive things in the world, right?
Very much so.
And that's also part of what you're talking about for people to engage in.
Exactly. And Dr. Pat, over all these years, we've done so much work on ourselves and really trying to move forward. And it's almost time to celebrate. And in fact, go ahead and celebrate now, all the great things we've done. But what's happening is we need to have a clear vision that things are going to get better. And they are. Like I said before, there may be some bumps in the road coming this year and the next couple of years, as far as economically and politically. But I think it's so vital for us now to keep the vision of who we are, what is possible, and really what is our goal here. And we can become the captains of our ship. This is so important for us to have that clear goal and to hold that goal, that things are going to get better, that there is a divine plan here, and that we are players in that divine plan. And again, we have a choice, Dr. Pat. Do we want to play small or do we want to play big?
Well, I love that you said that. I learned something a number of years ago, of course, being the table tennis buff that I am I playing to win, Robert, or am I playing not to lose? Am I playing to win or am I playing not to lose? And you know what I'm talking about. There's this energy of playing not to lose. It's very different. And what's happening with me, what a great metaphor too. I didn't know you were going to bring this up. I play with these guys, right? And I've now had, Linda went with me last week. I've now had 4 of them. They don't talk to each other. 4 of them say to me, you've got to play more aggressively. And what they're saying is, and I think you're saying it as well, each of us have very special gifts. We're not bringing them to the forefront in the way they're being called. We're all different and all unique. Look at you. Look at that beautiful painting behind you right now. This is what you're bringing to the forefront. How can we help inspire folks listening to this to say, listen, it's okay to play to win. It's okay to get your paintbrushes out even if you don't know how to paint.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly. It's playtime.
Yeah.
But let me also say that we don't all have to be a Martin Luther King.
No,
we
that's
don't
right.
all have to be a Gandhi or Mother Teresa. You can be a mother of children and raising wonderful children. We don't have, playing big doesn't mean that you have to be on the world stage. You can be in your home stage where you are just raising the most fantastic, dynamic, intelligent, and loving and compassionate children and creative children. The homeschooling is getting so strong now, and I admire any parent that's doing homeschooling because they're putting their heart into this and they're doing something wonderful to engender that into the next generation. And that is key. Dr. Pat, you and I were brought up in the 60s and 70s. We were very idealistic. We were going to change the world. We were going to bring more love and happiness and peace in this world. Well, we definitely had the right intention, but we can see that it hasn't been fruition yet. It's time now. And we've all heard the idea that this next generation is the starseed, that they have a whole new perspective on life and are almost enlightened just by their sense, although it might not look like it on the outside by some of their actions and everything. But We just need to help this next generation to really shine. And like we talked about, be a light to the world. If we can help this next generation in any way, that is really huge, huge for us.
Yeah, it is. And, what we're really talking about for this next generation is looking at how to take these actions, but have this energy of positivity, energy of joy, energy. Even if things in the world are disturbing, we can choose how we move forward and how we react. Again, I want to let everybody know, if you want to find out more about Robert, go to theartofpowerfulliving.com. You'll see right there is his book, 30-Day Adventure, moving from stress, overwhelming, depression, anger, fear, any and all of that, how to move from there to more joy, more health, more life. His book is a real invitation to look at all of these things, not because there's somebody telling you to, but because you deserve more joy, more love, more health, more abundance, more life. And it's a great gift. If those of you out there are thinking, what am I going to give somebody for this holiday season? Think about a book that's called For the Love of Joy. Let's take a short break. When we come back, 1-800-930-2819. But we're going to talk about, let's go from where you are now. Let's put joy into action with Robert. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Really great to have all of you tune us in, turn us on right here. The Art of Powerful Living with Robert Schoenfeld. Now, you can go to his website, theartofpowerfulliving.com. And when you get there, you're going to be so joyful because it is a joyful place to be. Right there on the home page, you can get a copy of his book. But more importantly, there is going to be in the menu something called a global moment of joy. And what Robert's going to talk about right now, and the invitation now, is not just about how to create a shift within yourself, but how to take that change. And he's going to talk a little bit about some changes he did this year with his joy, how to take it and share it. Robert, you did go through a little change there with your art this year.
Definitely, definitely. So that's one of the great joys of creativity is change and taking chances, experimentation. Again, you don't want to go into something creative like, that it has to be successful every time. Creativity is sometimes a messy experiment that doesn't go right. But as long as you have a kind of a goal and you're growing and you're enjoying it, there's a vibration inside of you, there's a joy inside of you, there's an enthusiasm in you, you're on the right track. And if it takes 6 months, 6 years, whatever it takes for something to explode, as you know, Dr. Pat, this year you've been following me with my art, and my art is always going through transitions. I took a couple of big leaps this year in changing the whole style. So you see the painting behind me, which is the flowing colors. I went into a whole other experiment and did that for a couple of months, and they were coming out nice. But you know what? I've come back to my original style just because there's an energy that just flows through me with this style that I'm doing now. And hopefully in the year to come, I'll come out with some new styles because that's what life is all about. It's about growth. It's about change. That's what the creative process is. Who knows what you're going to be like a year from now? Who knows what my art's going to look like a year from now? That's part of the experiment. That's part of the joy. That's part of the creative process.
Yeah. And, giving yourself permission to do that is part of the process, part of the Art of Powerful Living process. And in the essence of it, we get to create new things. So one of the new things is the global moment of joy. Exactly. Now you have a call to action for everyone.
Let's do it.
Let's tell everybody what that is and let's get it done.
Excellent, excellent. So as we all know, there's power in numbers. There are 7 billion of us plus on this earth right now. If we could get 7 billion people together all at the same time in a global moment of joy, what do you think this world would be like overnight? Right. Overnight. So let's start right now. I started a program called Global Moment of Joy, and you can see it on my website. And the idea is to bring 1 billion plus people together every day at 12 noon in their time zone in a global moment of joy. And this can be 5 minutes where you just are at your desk at work or at lunch with a friend, and you just think about all the things that you're grateful for or the things that you're going to do to bring more joy into your life. If everybody did this every day for 5 minutes, we would have an amazing 2018. So what I'm asking everybody to do on Christmas Day and also on New Year's Day, wherever you are, whoever you're with, for 5 minutes, spend that time in great joy of gratitude of what you've been thankful for the last year, what you want to be grateful for coming up in this next year, and what your joyful goals are for the year to come. If we have, like you say, Dr. Pat, over 30,000 people listening to this program right now, just if us 30,000 did it, that'd be powerful. But what I'm asking all of you right now, after we get off this show, go to Facebook, share this with at least 1,000 of your friends or as many friends as you have on Facebook, that at 12 noon on Christmas Day and 12 noon on New Year's Day, to spend 5 minutes, and then for them to share that with 1,000, that would be over 100 million people doing 5 minutes of joy on New Year's Day and Christmas Day. What do you think, Dr. Pat?
I think it's so easy and so simple and yet so very, very powerful. See, that's what we're talking about. And I think you mentioned it earlier in the show today that, simple and powerful go together. And, sometimes we get confused about that. But your invitation right now is to say, let's create something. Doesn't cost us anything. Changes the physical nature of our hearts, more expansive, more open, creates an energy to invite other people into the energy of that, even if they don't have their own joy, right?
But let me even go a step further.
Yeah.
Whenever we're thinking of joyful thoughts or joyful emotions, there's a chemical reaction in our body that's healing. And it adds to itself. So the more joy you bring to yourself, the healthier you're going to be, and the healthier relationships are going to be, the healthier thinking is going to be. It's a magnetic thing that grows like a snowball. So why not do it? Let's do it individually in ourselves, bring more joy so that we're healthier, happier. But let's spread that out to the rest of the world, because then it comes back to us. The more we give out, the more it comes back to us. It's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. Robert, today we've really talked about many, many things that people can help us with. You bring this message forward. I know there are people that you've studied, people that are meaningful, people that made a difference in your life. What are some of the things we can share here in these last couple of minutes for people to hold on to as we move through this time?
Sure. One of my favorite quotes is by Buckminster Fuller. He was one of the most intelligent men of the last century. And he said, to change something, build a new model and watch the old become obsolete. And what that means to me is, if there's something out there in the world that you don't like, don't fight it. Don't try and change it. Go ahead and create something better and watch the old just fall away. So if you don't like what's going on in your personal life, in the world, in the political scene, don't fight it. Don't get mad at the Republicans or the Democrats or whoever it is. Create something better and watch the old become obsolete. It's a more fun way to live, and it's a more joyful way to live.
Well, and we can still take action. We just don't have to be angry about it.
That's right. And let me say something about anger. One of the great things you can do in this year coming up, 2018, is let all your anger go. So in these next 10 days of meditation and reflection, if you're angry at somebody, whatever it is, do not carry that into this next year. You'll be much more happy if you can do that. So that's my blessing to everybody here.
I love it. Robert, thank you so much for all that you do. Again, if you want to get a copy of the book, The Love of Joy is on Amazon, or you can go to theartofpowerfulliving.com and click right on the picture right there, get a hold of Robert, contact him, and get ready to really look at this book and perhaps use it with your friends and your family to set in motion for the next month opportunities and ways to create more joy than you can imagine. Robert, thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Lots of love.
Yes, and from me too, everybody. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned. We got more coming up on Transformation Talk Radio.